This video, I want to talk about what's the best way to gain confidence. As a somebody who was like a really shy kid growing up, I really looked up to people who seemed like, or looked up to kids and people growing up, adults too, who seemed like it just seemed like nothing bothered them. You know, like I spent so much time, like I was so afraid of every little thing and everyone. Like I remember, like for me when I was a kid, if you were even a year or a grade older than me, I was terrified of you. You know, I remember being in like third or fourth grade and having to walk down like the fifth grade hallway, and it always seemed like I don't know if you ever seen that movie Lean on Me. It just always seemed like East Side High. Like every other hallway was like cool, and then when you go down the older kids' hallway, like they was always hanging out, like after lunch or some shit, they be hanging out the doorway and shit, talking shit to us. And I'm like, what the fuck, you know? And then when I got in fourth and fifth grade, we didn't even do that shit, or at least not that what I saw. But I want to talk about what's the best way to gain confidence. You know, I don't know. I just, you know, getting discouraged. It's a hard thing to, and this is why me personally I like kind of being by myself because it gives me that time to think. Now, you do have to be around other people to kind of, because you don't have it all figured out, and so when you're around other people, they can kind of give you ideas and things like that, and like, hey, maybe you should do it this way and stuff like that. But see, when you're around what I deem to be the wrong type of people, they can just get in your head and it's like I don't know. You don't know if they're doing it on purpose or that's just how they are. But it's just like I don't know. I guess I'm kind of rambling. I usually I do a better job of like getting my point across, uh, but yeah. I mean, what's like the what is the is it experience? Is it just getting out there and just doing it? You know, because you have a lot of you have a lot of people. I think a lot of times people like to just hear themselves talk. It's kind of ironic because I'm just sitting here just talking to myself, but like when somebody was kind of like born or not born, but like naturally they just have more confidence or whatever than other people. They look at you as being weak because you're not as confident, right? I guess the way I can compare it is like to me, I feel like there's some instances where this is not true, but I feel like the best teachers are, excuse me, the best players. And I'm not a sports fan, but I'll make like a sports analogy. And I got on a sports sweatshirt. That's kind of weird. But the best players oftentimes make like the worst coaches. You know, like if you look at some of the great coaches, let's say like Nick Saban, right? He's a really good coach. Some people might say, well, he's just a good recruiter, but I mean, well, I guess Alabama is kind of like it's a staple. It's the top ranked school for a long. It's been a top ranked school for a long time. People want to go there, but Nick Saban is holding up the torch. So I mean, if he was that bad of a coach, he'd fall off at some point. But what my point is, some people think more as generals. Some people think more as foot soldiers. So the general might say, the person who's a general He might not be a good foot soldier. And you go, well, don't they kind of go hand in hand? Well, let me share this with you. See, a general has to understand their squad, right? They have to know every single person on their squad, and they have to know their strengths and their weaknesses, right? A foot soldier has to be, a foot soldier doesn't have to think that much, you know? He doesn't, his whole thing is point me in the direction where you want me to go fuck some shit up at. I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna fuck some shit up. And when I go over this way, you see, let's say some shit over here. Whatever's over here is gonna be leveled. It's gonna be just like this. When I get done, it's gonna be just like this. Flat land, no buildings, no people, no survivors, nothing. A general may not be that either courageous, or he may not be battle hungry like that, but he's up here, right? So what was the point of that? Stop. I think we have to listen to people who kind of have gone through. There's a fly on my fucking. We have to listen to people who've gone through certain things, right? Because people just like to hear themselves talk. They feel like, and any fool like me with a damn phone or a camera, you can just get on here and just say shit, right? It's like me. I've never saw the use of getting drunk, getting high. I've never been drunk. I've never been high. I don't do drugs. So when I see somebody drunk or like needing to go to rehab and things like that, I can't really relate to it, I guess. But I would never say you're weak because your vices have taken, I almost said taken such a hold of you that you cannot get off this substance. You see, some people will though. You on them pills, you on the drink. You can't get off the heroin. You can't get off of this. You know, but hey, you know, you can't. I hate that saying we can't judge, but I don't think it's fair to just sit up and just tear somebody down because they're not on the same level as you. Now, if a motherfucker come up to you and they start talking shit, then hey, that's the rule of shit talking. Whatever I see, or whatever, if you know the person, if I know you, if I see you fat, if I see you ugly, if I see you got acne, if I see you got a fucking club foot, if you come talking shit to me, you fat club footed, fat footed, crooked eyed having like everything that you see is getting put on blast. So I'm not talking about that. But to sit up and think that you're just better than somebody because you have these vices, that their vices have taken such a hold on them, that's kind of bullshit to me. You know, you know, when people say, when people say shit like, well, just why don't you just stop doing it? Or why don't you just, they make it seem like it's so easy. I'll say with the alcoholic thing, right? Telling an alcoholic to just stop doing what they're doing, it's almost like, damn, I wish I'd have thought of that. You know what I mean? It's like, I wish I'd have thought to just stop. It's not that they haven't thought about stopping. I ain't gonna say they can't. They currently, they can't. I'm not saying, when I say that, I mean that I'm not saying that they never can. I'm saying currently at this moment, they can't. So that goes back to my original point. I was talking about confidence at the beginning, but how can you tell somebody to just stop doing something when you don't even know what it is that's ailing that person? And I don't know. I could just get sick of hearing people running their mouths because they got a phone and they can make fun of folks. Maybe that's just it. You know. And I think that's why a lot of times, speaking for men, we don't share a lot of things. Because when you hear how somebody else is getting made fun of, it's like, I'm not going to share something with you. I already feel bad about whatever it is this I'm feeling bad about. I feel bad. I want to talk to somebody. I just heard you rip on Johnny for the same shit that I got going on. So now I'm feeling bad, and then you gonna make me, and then I feel bad about it. I'm having a moment of weakness. I want to reach out to somebody. You know, I reach out to somebody. So not only are they making me feel bad, they make me feel worse about what I'm doing or what I don't have or whatever. But now if I don't reach out, I'm feeling bad about feeling bad. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like when you tell somebody like, man, I don't know, kind of, it's not feeling well. You just gotta, man, I just gotta do it. Like, I don't know. I don't know. So I guess that brings back to like, what's the best way to build? What's the best way to build confidence? I kind of went off, but I got a lot of stuff on my mind, and this is helping a lot. And you can say, well, you said you were shy. How'd you do it? I, maybe that's the best way to do it is just to keep chipping away at it. Keep getting up to bat. And whether you strike out, walk, hit a home run, hit a single, double, ground rule double, or whether you get out at first, don't let folks intimidate you. As Timothy Ward said, get fed up with life. See, when I was younger, being around certain personalities, it's like somebody was choking me. I felt like I couldn't express myself. I don't know if it's because it was out of envy that this person is so comfortable with themselves, or if it's because I was just scared. Whatever the case is. And then we got to think about that too. When we look at somebody that's loud and boisterous, we think that that's like because we think of being extroverted and loud as being, that's like the normal. When you're quiet and reserved, something's wrong with you. It could damn well be something wrong with that person that's introverted or that's extroverted and loud. They could be loud because they was abused growing up, or not necessarily like whooped and beaten. Maybe they was shunned as a kid. Maybe by their home parent. Maybe their parents didn't give a fuck about them. So it's like, well, shit. I'm gonna fucking yell. I'm gonna be as loud as I can because nobody paid any attention to me when I was a child. It's funny that the shit that we go through as a child, you never really get rid of it. As that old saying, you're no different than who you were as a child. See, me, I was a shy kid. I wouldn't say I'm shy now, but I'm definitely quiet. I'm definitely reserved. It takes a little while for me to make the first move. That's something I really want, like an opportunity or something. It's just a little rambling session. I don't even know what I'm gonna title this one, but to all my folks out there that's like me, and you grew up unconfident, and that's still kind of affecting you today. We can change. It's a hard road to hoe, but we can change. Just keep getting up there. Step up to the plate. Keep stepping up to that plate. And whether you strike out, walk, whatever, you go back to that dugout and you say, hey, I got another shot. The game ain't over with. I'll be back up there.